guys, Red here. So today I decided to at least start and try and make a video here. So I decided to try and make ink. Not a lot of people interested in this kind of stuff. If you are, feel free to watch the whole thing. If not, feel free to watch the whole thing. So I've got a few things here to help us out today, including some ash here. So I got some ash from our fire pit. Not sure if you can see that too clearly. It is pretty black on the camera. But that's what I'm hoping to make the ink out of mostly today. I've also got this little pot here. This is going to be what's going to help us grind it up to make the initial paste. I've got some water here behind this paper towel. I've got paper towels. I've got a few things in here, mostly like toothpicks and some Q-tips. I'm going to try and use those to actually write with ink once we've made it. I've got some little, odds and ends, plates, stuff like that. See what we can do with. I got a little strainer, sift that kind of stuff out. I'm not gonna wait too much longer, so let's get into this here. So first things first, I'm gonna take the ink, put it in this little pot, take the ash, put it in this little pot here. So I'm gonna get some of the smaller pieces just because they're gonna be a little bit easier to grind up initially. Once we grind it up, we're going to start putting it on, actually let's put it in this bowl here. So we're going to start putting it in this bowl here. Not sure how well the camera's lighting is there. It seems to be a little bright. That should help us seeing the actual ink stuff. So, got a little bit of a broken hand here, but let's see what we can get going with it. Okay. So now that that's ground up a little bit, like I said, we're going to put it in this bowl here. Let me just get that so it's not going to roll away from us. Got this little strainer. Not sure if it's going to come in too much handy here. I figured it'd be better than nothing. Let's see. Seems like a lot of that's fused to the bottom here. So I'm going to try and, let's not spill that. So I'm going to try and grind a little bit off the bottom here just so that we get as much of the powder as we can use to make this here. So, okay, now that I've made that royal mess, I'm going to sit down on that plate there. That rolled completely off. There we go. Second time's a charm. Or third if it takes 3 tries. So just gonna try and sift this out here. Make sure this gets as much of the stuff that I might not have ground up too much because, not a professional grinder or whatever you call that kind of thing. So while we're doing this here, let's see. Looks like it's just about done. We've got a really nice, really fine powder. Okay, so I think that's about as good as we're going to get it. So just for comparison's sake, I'm going to put that on top of there. Just see if you guys can see that closer up there. So it's not necessarily the finest powder. We want to make sure we get it super duper fine here. I'm not sure how much you can see that kind of stuff. You see how it's almost like a dust rather than kind of like crumbs or something like that. So now that we have this here, let's try and mix in a little water. I just have a few of these. They're little like tablespoon, teaspoon sets. Use them in cooking and stuff like that. I use them for a little bit more creative things. Looks like we might have a leak on the bottom of this actually. So I'm just going to take a little bit of water here and just slowly drizzle that on there. Probably only going to do a little more of that. And then let's just take, actually let's reuse this one here. I'm just gonna take this and just try and kind of mix it in there. So now we've got that. This is what I'm hoping will turn out to be good ink. We'll see how it works. So I've got some paper here that I can use. A little bit aged. Of course, you gotta go cool when you're doing stuff like this. I've also got this. This is a little plaster shard from an experiment I did a while ago, trying to make some stuff out of that. So we're gonna try it on both here, see how they work. So let's go back and try the skewer. I don't think this will work, but we'll try it anyway. And worst case scenario, we can put it back. So let's see here. We'll try the paper first. Oh, that's looking really good here. Does run out of ink pretty quickly though. There's the symbol that I drew though. My left hand is not quite as good. My right hand's on break for now. But we'll see how well I can do. Just don't judge my handwriting too badly. So man, that leak is really getting big on the water here. So while we're doing that, next let's try with the Q-tip. So again, I don't want to mix really with the stuff that's on top. I don't know if you're doing this at home along with me, but I don't want to get the stuff that's on top, because you'll see some stuff that kind of floats to the top and just kind of makes like a little paste looking thing. I want to get the stuff that's in the bottom, because that's what I think is most likely distilled. So again, I'm going to try and draw that symbol here. So that one was a little bit more smeared out. I honestly think that I like the wood one, the one that I drew with the wood, better. The wood is the one you'll see on the right over by me, or I guess your guys' left. Actually, no, I'm not sure. Yeah, your guys' left. So, I'm wondering what else we could experiment with here. I wonder, because I like the wood one a little bit, if we were to use the tip and then just kind of re-dip a little bit, because the tip is a really fine point there. So if I was to use the tip here, I want to get it nice and soaked in here. Okay, so what happened there, I think, the tip is so fine of a point. You can see on the bottom there, not sure how well you can see that. But because it's so thin, it runs out of the ink that's on it really fast, because it doesn't really absorb it very well, and the stuff that it does absorb it typically doesn't let go of. So that's why you have like your pens and stuff like that are really good, because they'll not only absorb, they'll not only have the ink in it, but they'll also be able to let go of the ink at a steady pace. So this one's not really too good at doing that. So that's why it's got kind of really thin lines there, at least I think. So let's see if I can think of another thing. Let's actually try with the bigger end of the Q-tips, the actual Q-tip section. So at this point, I'm not going to be able to be picky about the stuff, so I'm just going to try and get, big glob on there, just something I can kind of write with. Honestly, I'm thinking more like a paintbrush than anything else at this point. This time, let's try and write a word in English, though. Let's try and write red. Okay. So that one, a little bit easier to see there. I think that D is, yeah, that D is really backwards. Sorry about that. Like I said, I'm left-handed. I'm trying to focus on that. Writing's not my strong suit. You can see at least how the ink worked there. You can see kind of the order that I drew it in as well. So you see that R is really, really dark and really pronounced. And then it slowly gets kind of lighter as it goes more towards the honestly, I don't know what letter that is, but I'm not going to call that a D in good faith. So that is pretty cool. So now that we've done some testing on the paper, let's go over to the plaster shard. This is really absorbent, so I've got some high hopes for how this is going to look. So I'll move that over there. Let's start on the plaster shard. Let's see if I can get you a little bit more detailed look at it. It's kind of a little bumpy there. Okay, so again, experiment's sake, we're going to do all the same stuff we did with the paper. So first off, we got the flat end of the skewer here. And we're just going to glob that on there. Let me re-dip that there. So I actually really do like this effect. So let me see if I can show it to you there. So you can see it kind of starts out, again, in like the glob that I had, and slowly gets a little smaller as I go more towards the end of the line. By the way, this symbol here is one that I made for a little language. I'll probably show it in a later video if you like. Comment below if you want to see that, by the way. I'd be happy to show it. So I've got that stuff there. And then again, experiment's sake, gotta try everything. So we're gonna try the fine point on there, the tip. I don't think this is going to do too much, again, just because it's not really able to hold the ink there, able to hold the stuff there to use. So yeah, I'm not even going to finish trying to write that symbol. You can see, so you see that little dot on the very top there. I'm just twisting that for you. That is the place that I put the stick down, and then as I moved it across, it just absorbed all the ink right away. So I wasn't really able to get any farther than that. I wasn't really able to do any more. So skewer has some good potential, but you want to use the flat end. You don't want to use like really fine points. That's probably why in the olden age, again, this isn't me knowing anything. This is me assuming based on this. When you see like the feather quills and stuff like that, they do have wider points in the bottom, as well as the inside of it is hollow. So when you dip it in there, a little bit of it will kind of get stuck in there, kind of like a straw with that kind of thing. Then as they write, that kind of sucks it out with just the pressure of the water moving more towards the page, or the ink, I guess, more towards the page. So that would explain why they used feathers back then, because a feather, honestly, I wish I had one here. But that would be really cool to experiment with. Maybe I'll make another like 30-second video for that later. So then on to the Q-tip. I'm actually going to start with the actual Q-tip side, so the big one here first, just because I'm really interested to see how that's going to be. So let's see here. I'm going to start a little bit lower. That's very globby. It kind of hits like a sweet spot when it comes to running out of the ink though. So you see that big glob one down there, that's of course the Q-tip point, or the Q-tip fluff there. So the big top smear, of course, is the first one I did, and then it kind of evens out a little bit. It's a little bit harder to tell like which of the three lines on the bottom I drew first. So it does look pretty cool, but a little bit more globby than I would want. I want it to have a little bit of a finer point. So let's go back to the Q-tip point and get a darker background. Sorry, the lighting is done a little weird. This is my first video I've done with the camera like this though, so I'll see if I can get it better if I do another video after this. So I'm going to write that one right there. I'm going to re-dip there for that middle line. Okay, I kind of messed up the symbol a little bit. Then there's that bottom one there. It's the one on the very bottom. That one you can kind of see what that looks like. This would be very interesting to experiment with. I'll see if I can make another video at some point using a little bit more varied stuff. Maybe use a feather if I can find a good one of those. Who knows? I'll maybe look some stuff up, see if I can find out what other things I might have used when they didn't have feathers around. But yeah, I think that's all I'm going to do in this video here. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. The like button, all the like, all the stuff other YouTubers annoy you with. I guess me included now, but so yeah, this is Red One, and signing out.